There's power in a drum beat on a hill above the sea. Power in the voice of a supporter. But it all amounts to nothing. Together we don't sing. There's power when we're North Boise. And it's bang go forever. Old Town Stingery. Valley and mountain shine brown to the sea. And the colors of our rainbow, sunset orange, Tory green. There's power when we're North Boise. ST loyal forever. Someday North County. Desert to islands. Get back on you and me. All our voices strong together as we cheer on our team. There is power when we're North Boise.
I'm going to jump in real quick because we don't have audio, Dylan.
Oh, shoot. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. I'm going to
Oh.
drop back out and let you start.
Oh, that's embarrassing. I'm sorry, everybody. My mute button on my headset was hit. Welcome, everybody, to the Loyal Locals podcast. Happy Tuesday. Andrew Dyer is out. I am going to be doing my best to fill in. Clearly, I have already messed up. Anyway, joining me today is producer extraordinaire and the guy who knows what's up with the sound, Mr. John Cross. John, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing, Dylan?
I was doing great until about 30 seconds ago, so we're going to keep rolling with it. Also joining us tonight is Mr. Kevin Joseph.
Good evening.
Good evening, Kevin. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. How are you all?
Doing all right. Rolling through. Reminder to everybody, we are live, so if you have chat, or if you want to put something in the chat, go ahead and we will see it and we will do our best to incorporate it into the show. Just to start, this past weekend, did either of you attend any of the watch parties to watch the New Mexico game?
I did. I went to the shop to go watch it. I don't always go to the watch parties. It's usually a lot of times away games because of some of the other stuff I'm doing. It's kind of my time to relax and sit by the television and watch a game, even though I do enjoy getting out there. But it worked out for me to be able to go to the shop, and there were probably about a dozen people there.
Did you get any merch at the sale?
Not too many locals. What was that?
Did you get any merch at the sale they were doing?
I did not. I went and I looked, and I found one thing that caught my eye. It was a kind of a zip hoodie. It was white on top and kind of light gray on the bottom, and it looked nice. And the first thing I thought was, I'm going to get stains all over that immediately. So I didn't buy it. But I didn't really see anything else that that caught my eye. Actually, just recently, as a gift, got the Tory Green hoodie. So I'm happy with that.
Kevin, how about yourself? Did you partake in the sale or watch parties?
I admittedly did not even get to watch the game. I was out of town this weekend in Reno for a bowling tournament. Also RIP 1868. So I didn't even get to watch the game. I honestly haven't even gone back and watched the highlights yet.
Well, okay, we'll get more into bowling in the lounge. Plug for the lounge. Stick around after. Yeah, I watched the game at Fair Play. Yeah, I did. I will pretty much always be at Fair Play unless I am out of town. I have a good relationship with Adam and Shane, the owner and the manager there. So I'm gonna try and always be there to help make sure that goes over smoothly, which it did again this week. So yeah, Fair Play's a lot of fun. We've been out on the back patio so far, but the weather has been good. It's covered back there. So yeah, come out to Fair Play if you're in Central City. But anyway, moving on, we coming up, we have Tampa Bay at home this weekend on Sunday at 3 o'clock, I believe. Is that correct, John? I see
3 o'clock, yes.
3 o'clock. Okay, so keep that in mind. I've already spoken to a few people who didn't realize it was a Sunday game. So Sunday at 3 o'clock. And then we actually have the U.S. Open Cup coming up the following week. By any chance, are either of you going up to Seattle for that?
I am not going up to Seattle. I cannot afford, well, it's expensive, pricey, but I as a teacher and just getting off spring break and coming back now, I can't afford to be out of school the time that I would need to be out of school more than the cost. But it's pretty pricey to get flights and stuff this close to a match. I wish we had some time. I know you can't in a tournament, but I wish sometimes we had a little more lead time so you could get some better prices on tickets. But there do seem to be a few people in Discord saying they're going. Kevin, how about you?
I'm also not. I'm mostly trying to meet out my my travel this year because I am planning on going to the Women's World Cup in New Zealand and Australia, which is a pretty big undertaking. So I'm not going to go as many other places before then.
Except bowling.
Except bowling. And that was Reno. That was easy.
Yeah. I also won't be going. I was very, very tempted. And in fact, I actually have to go to LA for work that day that the game is, which LA. But if I hadn't had to do that, I probably would have ended up being sucked into going. Well, especially considering the fact, one of my best friends lives in Fremont in Seattle. So I would have a place to stay, and the game is at Starfire Stadium, which is like right by SeaTac, which is just super convenient because SeaTac is nowhere near downtown Seattle. Right. But yeah, if I didn't have a work conflict, I don't know if I'd have been able to resist. And if we had been drawn against Portland, I 100% would have been going. But anyway, we can get into that in the lounge. But I do, like John said, there are some folks in the Discord who I know for a fact are going up to Seattle for the game. So if you are thinking about it, are already going, making plans, check out the Discord. There will be some folks there you can connect with.
And before we get kind of off the Open Cup Seattle topic, I might as well plug out right now. For our next episode of Kicking It with the Locals, we are going to be doing an interview with Cameron Collins from Gorilla FC, which is one of the supporter groups for the Seattle Sounders. So we'll be doing a live episode like we did with 83 United. And right now, we have the schedule keeps changing just slightly, but I think we finally settled on Monday. So Monday at 8 o'clock coming up. So 2 days before the Open Cup match, we'll be doing a live pod with Cameron Collins. So feel free to jump on and ask questions. We'll just have a little chat about supporter group culture.
Yeah, definitely. Seattle, the Pacific Northwest in general, but Seattle definitely has a very rich supporters culture and rich supporters history. So that should be a fun one. I know the last episode with an opposing supporters group, with the Tulsa episode, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. And I thought once people started getting involved in the comments is really when it started to get loose and fun. So, if you have the time, folks, definitely turn up for the live broadcast and you can ask your questions and it'll be a good time. But anyway, moving on, we have a couple shout outs here. First of all, San Diego Loyal, the club, on Friday the 12th are doing a Harvey Milk diversity breakfast. I hadn't honestly heard about that until just yesterday, I think, when they put out this notice that John's showing here. Are either of you planning on attending?
I am not planning on attending, but they're supposed to be recognized and honored there. They're getting the Harvey Milk Champion of Equality Award is what the Loyal is being recognized for.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I am stoked to see my club being honored that way. I appreciate the work they do and the voice they try and give to communities. So I'm honored to see my club respected in that way. I don't know. What about you guys?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I like to see them in the community and doing, well, to not get too much maybe into some of the things from last year, but feeling like getting back to some of the things we were doing the first couple of years as a club. So I like it. It's an honor to see that they are being recognized by the community for this, but it's good to see them being actively involved, which I feel like we just kind of took a step back from that a little bit last year. Intentionally or unintentionally, but just felt like we took a little bit of a step back. So I'm glad to see you're reaching out to all parts of our community.
Absolutely. So another shout out we have, a locals member, Travis, completed the 127th Boston Marathon in a time of 4 hours and 2 minutes and 54 seconds. This was just yesterday. And so 26.2 miles in 4 hours. I don't know. That sounds kind of ridiculous to me. But I know Travis had gotten a lot of support in the Discord. So that's fantastic for him. I am blown away by that time. That's pretty quick. Have either of you ever like run a marathon or tried to do any like distance running kind of thing?
Definitely not. Running requires much more motivation than I have had in most of my life. So that's not happening.
I was a runner for a little bit, but never to that kind of extreme. 3Ks, 5Ks, maybe just something relatively short. I'm not, well, certainly now, I don't think even walking I might be able to complete a marathon. So props to Travis there. And for those who are listening on audio, you can't see, we have a picture. They've been shared in Discord, so you can go there and see them under the, I forget which section it's in now. But we have a couple pictures on the screen, and that looks like a happy boy completing his Boston Marathon there. Very, very proud of himself, as he should be. And I don't, it brought up a lot of questions for me. I don't know if this is a common thing. Travis runs a lot of marathons. Does anybody know? I don't know if he does. It feels like we need to get him on a local segment on Kicking It with the Locals and find out a little bit more about his running background.
I think that would be an excellent idea, John. Get him on Kicking It with the Locals. This is either going to make me sound like totally uninformed or very well informed, but I think you might have to qualify for the Boston Marathon. I might be thinking of the New York City Marathon, but I don't think just anybody can run the Boston Marathon. So that is to say, I'm pretty certain this is something that Travis does with some regularity.
All right. Well, see, now I'm more informed because
but again,
never had the desire to run that far.
I might be completely wrong about that. So I apologize to the viewers if that is incorrect. Anyway, one more thing we wanted to highlight. San Diego Loyal are hosting a 5v5 tournament coming up on Saturday, May 13th. It's actually the same day as the RGV game at home at USD. You can save $50 if you register by May, and you get a free ticket to the RGV match. The Loyal website has more. This would probably be a lot of fun to watch. 5v5 tends to be, you get a lot of technical, high-skilled players. Do either of you have plans to go down to USD early to check this out?
I might go down and check it out. This kind of goes along, I'm more with my age here, like the marathon. I won't be participating in there, but what I would like to see, and it's easy for me to say because I'm not participating, but I'd love to see us have a locals team in this 5v5 tournament. We've had a lot of talk on Discord of people wanting to do an indoor team or get something going in a league. Off and on, we've had talk and it's never happened. We'll see maybe if this is the time we get some people together to compete in the tournament and represent the locals.
I have no idea if there are plans to put together a team or not. I have not heard chatter about it, so that makes me think that there currently aren't plans. I won't be participating, mostly because I'm not that good. So,
Yeah, my playing days are long past here. So if it was even just 20 years ago, I probably would be open to trying it. But definitely 30 or 40 years ago, I'd be all over it. But not anymore. But am curious about going down there, and like I said, if especially if we get a locals team, it would be fun to go down there and do some chants and cheers for our locals team.
Definitely. My playing days never existed. I did about 10 years ago play on a team for a short season with the Dark Clouds when I was living in Minnesota. We were not good, and I am large and slow, but it was at least a good time. There is absolutely no chance I'm going to participate in that tournament.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can round up some people on Discord there and get a team.
Yeah, going. There will be chatter on Discord about it for sure. Rolling on though, we have a game this weekend. We are playing Tampa Bay at home, 3:00 on Sunday. Again, that is Sunday, April 23rd. Tampa Bay, a real historic team in American soccer. Are you guys looking forward to this one?
I am looking forward to it. I'm excited to play them. Right now, they're sitting 9th in the Eastern Conference, which I don't think is representative of the team. You know, they've had 3 losses here in their first set of matches, or 3 in their last 5 just here. So they've had a string of poor results, but I still think, you know, that is not a bad team. Like New Mexico that we just played. I think New Mexico is sitting bottom of the table, but they hadn't played as many games. But I think New Mexico is much better than their record currently indicates. And I don't know. It's always, I like playing I guess what we all kind of think of as the stronger teams, to see where you are and where you match up, right? And it's a game at home. I think even against a Tampa team that's high up in the table, it's our home match. I still think we should take that one at home, but I think it'll be a tough match.
Absolutely. Sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
Tampa's been a really good team the last few years, and an organization that has been around for a while. You know, they go back to the ill-fated NASL rebirth. It's interesting to see them as far down as they are. I thought they would continue to be good this season. But it's very early. We don't know if they're going to turn it around. So it should be a good game. And again, like you said, it's at home. I like the chances of getting 3 points out of it, but I definitely wouldn't underestimate them based on their early record.
Yeah, it is early. Alan Underwood, who of the USL show and Two Balls on a Mic, likes to always say that it's around 10 games that you really have an idea of what teams are going to look like. And I think that has rung true in the 4 years now, this being the 4th that I've followed the USL. So I think, yes, Tampa has struggled, but they're a great team. They've been in the Eastern Conference Finals, I think 3 or 4 years in a row now. This is probably a good time to plug Bums Breakdown. Max and I just recorded tonight, so that should be out tomorrow or Thursday. So if you are looking to get your fix of preview, I think it's a good episode, if I do say so myself. We break down the upcoming Tampa game. They are most recently coming off a loss to Charleston. Augie Williams scoring a brace in that game.
But Charleston has come on strong this year, at least in these opening matches.
Charleston has done an excellent job recruiting both players, but also they hired Ben Perman, who was the Memphis's coach last year.
Right.
And he is one of the best coaches in lower league soccer in U.S., in my opinion.
I'm going to pull up a graphic here that's just from USL Tactics, their most recent rankings. And I'm curious what you guys think. They have us at 4th. Do you think that's fair for where we are? Too high? Too low? Kevin, I'm going to go with you first.
That seems pretty fair. Just looking at it kind of on a numbers standpoint, looking where New Mexico is, you go into New Mexico and get a draw, with the other teams surging a bit, they're going to hop over you in these kind of power rankings kind of things. But, 4th is it's a pretty good spot. Still, people are seeing that Loyal is definitely a dangerous team moving forward.
And then, Dylan, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty fair. I think any power rankings, whether that be John Morrissey's here that you have, or the USL website, or whoever else, power rankings in any sport, I think are always susceptible to some recency bias. But I think fourth is about fair for Loyal. When you look at the clubs above them, Sacramento, in my opinion, are the best team in the USL this year. They are so solid. Louisville, I don't know. They're a little all over the place, but you can never count them out. And Charleston, as we've alluded to, are absolutely flying right now. So yeah, I think fourth is about fair. I always say though, I'm happy to fly under the radar. I'd rather just quietly go about our business. So if people want to underrate us, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's always better not to paint a target on your back early 100%. On.
Absolutely, yeah. I totally forgot what I was going to say, so I'm going to pass it off to you, Dylan. Sorry, just blanked out.
Well, that's okay. Feel free to cut me off if you remember. Speaking of the game, as always, if you have a ticket you're looking to either sell, give away, if you are looking to get a ticket, the ticket exchange on Discord is always a great place. There's always at least one person looking to get rid of a ticket and always at least one person looking to pick one up. So that is a good place to go. But also remember, if you're a season ticket member, you can swap your tickets. So best to do that sooner rather than later. If you don't think you can make it, swap it to another game, bring a friend, make another Loyal fan, make another local. So keep that in mind. Stadium setup for the game this weekend.
Can I jump in for the tickets real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just wanted to point out we ended up last match, from best I understand from talking with a variety of people, we had several people in the ticket exchange who were trying to offload tickets to people, some even for free, and we had some people who were looking for tickets, and they had each posted stuff, but people just didn't get matched up. So I would strongly encourage, especially the people who, well, I guess both, if you're trying to sell your ticket, and just as a reminder, we always do it at face value in there. We're not trying to scalp any tickets to our other members. So face value or less. But, double check. Sometimes people just do a quick post and just leave it and wait to hear back. And it seems like we had people who were willing to offload tickets and people who needed tickets and people who missed out on the opportunity to connect. So sometimes you may just want to jump back in there into the ticket exchange and double check, especially if you're looking for a ticket. And also, if you're not going to do it, try to get in there as early as possible, because I know there was a flurry of stuff as we get within the last day and hours. And I know sometimes you don't know till the last minute, but the earlier you can get in there, the better chance you have of either picking up a ticket or offloading a ticket. And just to let everybody know, I'm going to be putting 2 tickets up there tomorrow. So in the Discord, so they'll be up there on Wednesday for anybody who's looking. But just as a reminder, try not to wait till the last second to get those up there if you can.
I'm glad you brought that up, John, because I actually wanted to put out a PSA regarding the ticket exchange, because this has happened to me a couple of times now. When you post something in Discord and say, I have XYZ tickets, please DM me. If that person is not your friend on Discord, which most of us, though we all inhabit the same server, are not friends, they go into your message requests and you don't get a specific notification about that. And I have missed, I realized this past week, a bunch of messages from the past week, month plus. And I feel really bad about it because people were, trying to give me tickets, get tickets from me, ask me questions. So if you are a person posting, well, this is just a good thing for anybody to check, PSA, but especially if you're posting about tickets, check your message requests in Discord. If you have questions about how to do that, feel free to reach out to me. I can show you because I figured it out myself, because again, I missed a bunch of messages. So I think that may have stood in the way of some exchanges this past week, though.
Right. And then the last thing I would further add to all that, besides checking and checking your messages, is once you have made an exchange, try to get in there and delete your posts so then people aren't filtering like, oh, someone's offering tickets, and you go through 3, 4, 5 people and like, oh no, I've already given them away. So if you've done the exchange to help everyone else out, if you can get in there as quickly as you can to go and delete, just so to cause less confusion and help facilitate the actual exchange so people who want to get to the game can get to the game.
Also got another thing to add, since you mentioned being able to exchange your tickets as a season ticket member. If you don't know which game you'd like to exchange your tickets for, you can actually just ask them to kind of put them on the back burner. I actually did this recently. I believe Weston put it on the last game of the season, just added an extra ticket and said, when you figure out which one you want, we'll move it to that one. So don't worry if you don't know which game you'd like to add it to, they'll take care of you.
Yes, Weston and Zach are fantastic in the ticket office. So always feel free to reach out to them. They will help you in any way that they can. But for this upcoming game this weekend, for stadium setup, if you want to come help out, I will be there 11 a.m. at the circle in front of the parking structure. If you're not super familiar with what that is, when you turn in from Linda Vista, I think it is, and then you come to that initial circle where you can go to the top level of the parking structure, go right there, and then down the hill a little bit, and it's that circle at the second level of the parking structure right at the stadium entrance. Is where we meet for setup. If you want to get more involved, or you just find yourself with time on a Sunday, stadium setup is a great way to meet people. It's a great way to just get more involved with what we're doing here with the locals. So if you have the time, I highly encourage anyone who can to come help out.
And sorry, then as soon as you're done helping out, you can head over to Coronado Brewing, because that's where the pre-match will be before the game. So roughly noon-ish. That kind of gives time for the people to do the setup and then head over to Coronado. But you don't have to do the setup. You could just head straight over to Coronado. So noon-ish is when people will start meeting. We generally, for someone who maybe has never been there before, we meet out on the back patio typically. Although we have sometimes groups that meet inside as well, but I would say the majority of the people meet out on the back patio and kind of all the way in the back corner. We kind of slowly start taking it over as more and more people show up.
You can always look for the Tory green and orange, and you'll find who you're looking for. So as John said, Coronado at noon. Then for the march, people will be meeting at the fountain in the plaza outside the Jenny Craig Pavilion at 2:35. The march will happen sometime between 2:40 and 2:45 for our 3 o'clock kickoff. So if you're looking to march, that is the schedule you should look to adhere to. This is for this game, it's a special event. It's the inaugural First Responders match. This is taking place after the game. It will be San Diego Fire Department / EMTs versus San Diego Police Department. They're calling it America's Finest Heroes Cup. Are either of you guys planning to stick around afterwards for that?
Well, I'll be sticking around to film you and Max for the post game, so maybe for a few minutes as we do that. It is early.
Yeah,
it's an early kickoff, so I won't have to be rushing home.
The sun will still be up, and this is a good chance to plug the Locals Last Call, which will be posted sometime after the game on Sunday.
Kevin, how about you? Will you be hanging out? Are you going to be at the game? I guess first question.
I will actually get to make this one. Even though it's we have a lot of strange times for games this season, it seems like. This is the first I've actually heard about this special event, which is awesome. And I might stick around a little bit and watch.
Yeah, I also was not super aware that this was happening until yesterday, I think. I saw somebody mention it. But yeah, why not? It'll probably be a nice day. And then I can root against some police officers. Oh, whoops, I got political for a second there. Anyway, the post-match celebration, if you're not looking to stick around, will be at O'Brien's in Kearny Mesa. Always a great time. They've always got a great selection of beers on tap, and there's some good food in that parking lot too. I personally am a huge fan of Rocky Rocky. I went there after O'Brien's last time. Might be looking to do it again. And for broadcast, if you're not able to make the game, as always, ESPN Plus will be carrying the game. But locally, if you have cable, the CW will be carrying the game. I think that's Channel 8, maybe. Don't quote me on that. John,
I don't know. I don't have. I haven't had cable for almost 20 years. So.
Oh wow.
I was an early cord cutter, so I have no idea what actual channel the CW would be.
Okay.
Do you know, Kevin?
I haven't a clue. I've probably lived here less long than either of you, and have never really watched local TV.
Okay, well, if you are on cable looking for the CW, start at channel 8, and if that's not it, go down to 1, and if you don't find it, then just start going up, and you'll get there. So, anyway, sorry, go ahead,
one more thing
John.
about the game before we go. We as always, do man of the match in the 70th minute, but I would also like to remind everyone that Second Chance Beer Company is our sponsor now for man of the match, and we'd like to thank them for providing the growler that we give to the players at the end of the match. So I just give them a quick plug there.
Yes, thank you. I know I had skipped over that. I meant to come back to it, but I appreciate you keeping me on check there. Yes, big shout out to Second Chance. I'm a big fan. I live here in North Park. They have their tap room on 30th Street that is, I spend more time than I care to admit at, but also they gave us the space to paint the first TIFO of the season. So huge shout out to Second Chance. They're a very appreciated partner for the locals, and especially with the growler. Big shout out, and there will be more coming, more shout outs. So anyway, just to kind of wrap up here, do either of you, were there any missed questions? I see. It looks like people are just kind of now getting in the chat.
But I'm gonna pull up Jerry Ibarra's here. Just a little shout out to our pub quiz team. I got a perfect game at trivia night tonight.
What does a perfect game in trivia mean?
Congratulations to them.
Does that mean they got every question right?
I'm guessing. I'm sure Jerry will chime in here in a second and let us know. But
yeah, Jerry, please.
That's what I'm guessing it means.
Well, in the meantime, while we're waiting for Jerry to elaborate on what a perfect game is, we have plugged this a little bit already, but Bums Breakdown, Max and I recorded a new episode today. So that should be coming either tomorrow or maybe early Thursday, with the game on Sunday. That'll still give you a little time to get prepared. We will also have the Locals Last Call post game. That will be recorded, but as usual, posted pretty quickly there after the game. So keep your eye out for that. And then John also mentioned that we should tentatively have on Monday evening around 8 o'clock an interview on Kicking It with the Locals with Cameron from Gorilla FC, a Seattle Sounders supporters group. John, did you have anything else you wanted to add for that?
No, that's it. We're excited to continue this series, I guess, that we're doing, some of our interviews, to reach out to other supporter groups. And I know it's not always the fashion to maybe have pleasant conversations with different supporter groups, especially teams you're facing, maybe like in the Open Cup. But we're trying to reach out and have conversations that are less about our teams and what our teams are doing in the field, but more what about each of us are doing as supporter groups, and especially what we do in the community, and see what we can learn from each other. And that's kind of the bigger push for this idea that we're trying to do with the supporter group line that we're doing. So we're hoping to get a few of these in this season. So this will be our second one, and I'm excited to talk to Cameron and pick his brain a little bit about some of the things they do up in Seattle.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier, I think the Pacific Northwest in general, but especially Seattle, has a super rich supporters culture, full of history. So really, really excited to hear what Cameron has to say. But we will, carrying forward, we have the lounge coming up later tonight, where we kind of just dive into whatever topics. I know we kind of have already brought up a few things tonight that we said we wanted to dive in further, but feel free to put anything in the chat. We will be talking probably about the Gold Cup coming here to San Diego. Golazo Network, I've had that on every morning this past week, so I have some thoughts. Camden Riley's mic'd up video, is that the best piece of content that Loyal have ever put out? Probably.
Camden Riley is a treasure.
Yes, 100%. Camden Riley and Balake Bodilly are treasures.
That's right.
So we will have it all in the lounge coming up. But for general SG news and information, as always, the Locals SG, that's the Locals, LOCALS SG.com, has all the info about anything you need to know, news, chants, whatever, registration. If you want to become a member, plug for membership. That's your place. Social media, Twitter, Insta, the Locals SG, the same as the website, just without the .com. But the best place to find us, as always, is the Discord. That's the best place for news. But if you want to find each of us individually, Kevin, where's the best place for people to find you on social media?
Best place is probably either on the Discord, of course, where I'm just listed as KJ, or I am also on Twitter, where I don't post a whole lot, but I'm at Doughboy767.
And John, do you have any social media, anything you want to plug?
About the only thing I have is the Discord, so you can find me at John Cross on Discord. And before I turn it back to you, we did get a response from Jerry. The answer was yes. They got every question right at their quiz night.
Nice.
Very impressive. Very impressive. Good for you guys. I have never once done that in my life, so well done. As far as social media goes, Twitter is really the only place I am active, as long as that is still a viable platform. DWIL 94. If you want to see me rant about soccer and or bike lanes. But other than that, I don't think we have anything else. John, did you have anything you wanted to add? Kevin, anything you wanted to throw in?
Nope, nothing on my end. I think we're good.
All right. Well, then all of us here at the Loyal Locals podcast, that will be it for us. But stick around. We will have the lounge in, 5 to 10 minutes, 8:45.
We'll be going at 9 o'clock.
Oh, 9. Oh, all right. Well, Then you've got a long break this week, folks. So we will see you in about 20 minutes at 9 o'clock. Please stick around. It'll be fun. I think we'll have some good conversation. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on Sunday at Torero Stadium.
Two islands, goodbye now, you and me.